Hey, Wompsters, it's Marissa Wompler here. I wanted to tell you about a great new podcast that we have become obsessed with. It's called Lost and Found.
And it's hosted by Matt McConkey.
One of the most handsome men in the world.
Devilishly handsome. You may know him from the Earwolf podcast, Homophilia.
And what Lost and Found is a series of intimate conversations with some of Matt's favorite writers, actors, comedians, who also happen to be adopted just like him.
Right. Matt will also be asking the burning question, if adoptees have a lifelong fear of rejection, why did so many of them pursue careers in entertainment?
Interesting. Listen to Lost and Found, out now on Stitcher Premium.
Go to stitcherpremium.com/found and use promo code WOMP, W-O-M-P, for a free month of Stitcher Premium.
Oh, yeah. E pluribus unum, bitch. We got a Latin teacher in the house today. We whopping up those jams, those ancient jams. Get your papyrus scrolls. Oh, shit.
Good.
I couldn't say
good.
papyrus. I was thinking about the King Tut exhibit that we went on a field trip to.
Oh, I thought you meant the font.
You know what I thought I would have seen more in that King Tut exhibit? People sucking each other's dongs on those scrolls.
I see.
Isn't that, or is that Vesuvius? Is that ancient Rome? They weren't sucking as many Egyptian scrolls on that in the... Oh, I could ask! I have somebody here!
Salvete discipuli.
Oh, hello!
You're going to speak entirely in Latin this whole podcast?
No, that
Okay,
would be
good.
silly. Then it would be a dead podcast.
If you think you are hearing a voice from the olden days, you aren't. This is a flesh and blood man. He is 1 billion years old. He's been at this theater. He's been at this school for how long?
I've been at this school since 1954.
Wow.
1954. It was my first year of
Wow.
teaching.
Now, they didn't have cars back then. Did you ride a horse to school or what? I'm being
No,
serious.
my mother would carry me.
Oh, your mother. Are you joking?
No, my mother was very strong, and she raised me by herself, and she would carry me to school, and then eventually we got a tandem bicycle, and we would ride that together, and it was delightful. Good
So
old
you
good
went,
old.
so who you're listening to, just to catch up our listeners, is our Latin teacher here at Marina Del Rey Public High School. We call him Dominus Templeton, which means Teacher Templeton.
Master Templeton.
Master Templeton. His real name is Mr. Heath Templeton. You were a student at Marina Del Rey Public High School, and then you became the Latin teacher.
I never left.
You never left.
I
Didn't you have to? You had to go to college to learn Latin, yes?
I did it all by myself. I just
Like a Socratic method
I
type
would
of
ask
thing?
myself questions like, do you pronounce a V like a V or a W? And I was like, a W. And that is the answer.
And that's it. And there's so few people who are Latin teachers. It's really a dying thing. People aren't learning it very
They
much.
say
but
that, dying language.
Well, it's a dead language. Officially, they call it a dead language.
And
but
yet you speak it in class,
I
which
do.
really freaks everybody out.
Well, there's whole swaths of the language that don't exist anymore, like a clause, the dative clause, which is a clause that we don't even use anymore in
So
any
why
language.
I don't
the
understand
fuck
that.
learn it? Why are we learning it? I want to get...
Gerundive.
Exactly. Who cares if we're not talking it?
This
Why
is the
are we
root
learning
of
it?
all language.
Yes,
this
thank
is
you.
where words, as we know them, came from. So if you
But
don't...
the words are here to be learned. Why do we need to learn where they came
That
from?
way, if you see a word, you don't know what it means, you can see, it has the lupine root in it. So I know what that means.
I'd love to meet somebody who actually takes those steps as opposed to Googling on their phone, Urban Dictionary, what does this mean?
What if Google was your brain, though, like it used to be?
Well, it's going to be when they put a chip in our brains.
Or what if you don't use new words, but only use the Latin words? That's what I like to do. Why use a new word if the old word is just as good?
Like, what, do you have a por ejemplo? Where did that
That's
come from?
Spanish.
Oh, okay.
Spanish, for example.
Incognito.
That's a Latin word?
Yes, it is. Nil, which means nothing.
Oh,
Latin word.
This
Alibi.
alibi, and we've had a murder on this
Multiple
podcast. Multiple murders. That's
Yeah.
right. And people, so like C.S. Steers, Casey Steers,
Yep.
he's going to have to come up with an alibi. And in
Yeah.
fact, our podcast could be one for him. Although he did leave. And then he came back and confessed to it.
Right.
So that's
So I don't
so an
think
alibi
that'll
is not
work.
going to help him.
No.
But this is, you know what? This might be the first podcast that we actually learn something, and that's exciting because most of the time we're just sort of like throwing
facts.
shit against a wall and
We
see
learn
what
a lot
sticks.
about humanity and people all
We
the
do,
time.
but
though.
this might be something there's gonna be a lot of takeaways. You know what? I better tell people what they're listening to because we jumped
Yeah.
right into it. Dominus Templeton, can I call you something a little more casual, like D-Temps?
Dominus Templeton is fine.
Okay. This guy is very formal. He's
Yeah.
wearing a three-piece suit as he
Yeah.
does, all brown.
He's well into his late 80s.
Different shades of brown.
And it all matches. My undergarments are brown.
Really?
Yeah, I wear one color at a time.
And you actually wear those the things that connect to your, keep your socks up.
Oh, those are sock garters.
Sock garters, you wear those too? This is bad.
Spats go across the top of your
Spats go
shoe.
to keep the mud from the horse and buggy. But I never had that problem because my mother
Carried you.
would carry me.
I can't wait to hear about this because that sounds like a really inspiring mom.
She is a delightful person.
She's not alive still, is she? You're 88 years old.
She is alive. She's
That's-
alive.
can't-
She takes care of me. She dressed me today.
How old is your mother?
She is 114.
Has she ever been on that Smuckers? You know how they do on the
Today Show?
Today Show where they
Yeah.
put her face on a Smuckers jar?
I don't know any of those.
You should let
She
somebody
dressed
know.
you?
She's 114
She's
She
100.
may be the
114.
oldest person
in the
living
world. I
ever.
mean, science should study her.
She is a strong woman. She changed a tire today on the street. We were passing. She was carrying me here to school, and
She still carries you?
She can't have the bone strength
well, we've
at that.
created a sort of a baby Bjorn type sort of leverage. So it's not all the weight on her arms, but she carries.
So you're still using your legs, sort of, to
No,
take some of the weight off her.
My calves are sort of hitched into her hips so that
doesn't-
she could carry me.
Hold on for just 1 second, if you don't mind. Hey, we haven't told anybody what this podcast is, but I'm getting a kind of creepy vibe about this.
You like a Bates Motel situation.
Yeah. Like, are we sure? Is he? Are we sure he's 114?
She can't be dead, right? She can't be dead because he's being
Unless
carried
he's
by her.
wearing her.
He's wearing her.
I don't know.
Well,
Okay, we're gonna.
Baba Wawa, get into it.
So sorry.
This,
Yes.
I was wondering, what the whispering.
Oh, nothing. Sometimes I have to check in. She's my producer, so I just had to check in.
Yeah,
and
the
make
levels
sure.
sound good.
Levels sound good.
really good.
All right, so what you're listening to
Yeah.
is a podcast called Womp It Up. I am Marissa Wompler. I'm not exactly sure how old I am. I've failed senior year a couple times. Looks like that's going to happen again. But I am part of the STARS program, which is an alternative learning program, aka the SPAS Academy, is what we're called by some very unkind students. And my teacher, slash soul guide, slash mentor, slash sister from another mister, is Charlotte, quote, Shardog Listler.
Turn around.
And there she is. And this is, as I said, my senior podcast project. I'm interviewing people from Marina Del Rey Public High School and the environs to find out what makes this vibrant beach community tick.
Yeah.
And today's guest is our Latin teacher, Dominus Templeton, who, fingers crossed, doesn't live with the corpse of his dead mom. Okay?
Let's jump into hot topics. Yeah.
Hot
Carpe
topics.
diem.
Carpe diem. What does that mean? Live with a dead person?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Seize the day.
There we go.
Mr. Templeton, Dominus, this is a segment where we just talk about what's going on in our lives. And I know you spend most of your time at the school, but I'd love to know what you do in your off time. What's been happening in your life these days?
When I'm not in the classroom,
Yes.
I spend a lot of time at home
Yeah.
in the garden with my mother,
Okay.
and we have a delightful time. So so much jocularity, and we find so much laughter, just with flowers and.
This is the house you grew up in.
This is the house I grew up in. Yes.
Yeah. You have brothers and sisters, a father.
I did at one point.
They've
yeah.
passed, but your
They've
mother
passed. They all
is
passed
still
at the same
alive.
time, yes.
I'm sorry?
They all passed at the same time. They were in a jalopy.
A jalopy accident?
A jalopy accident. It was.
Now, for our listeners who don't know, I know this is probably pretty painful to talk about. Can you tell our listeners what a jalopy is?
Is it like a dune buggy? Is it?
Okay.
Yes.
It's okay.
Well, I don't know exactly what a dune buggy is, but a jalopy is it's like an automobile that you would see on any road in any town, but it doesn't have a top, and the doors
that's
swing
dangerous.
open quite
Convertible?
openly, and
Is it like a Jeep?
it's like a Nazi motor car, like one of those that a Nazi
General would
do,
so
and
they could
have it
wave.
so he could point and wave and say, grab that person.
And this was
Yes.
in the
no.
olden days, like 1950s.
This
so
was the 1950s.
your
Someone
brothers and sisters were older than you, or
Yes, they were all older than me, and one of them was my twin as well. It was in the, it was in the
wow.
car.
this is not the first time
jalopy.
we've had a twin
Right.
parish. Is that correct? Little
that's
Nicky's
awful.
twin.
That's
or was that his
correct.
cousin?
Well, hopefully we'll work
A
together.
little brother, cousin.
Yeah, there's been a lot of
In the
car
jalopy?
accidents. We've had, our theater teacher, Dr. Lionel Drioche, his partner perished in a
Dune buggy.
recumbent
Recumbent
bicycle accident, which is very sad. And then
Recumbent bicycle, recumbent, recumbus, recumbent. We are all recumbing.
what does that mean? What does that mean? Is that a
Recumbent
Latin
is
word?
To recum, to go back.
That's what she
into-
said.
Okay.
I'm not sure. Cum means with, so in
That's right.
Latin,
If
so-
you're doing it right,
Cum,
doing it right,
right?
you cum with somebody at the same time,
Wow.
right?
Yes, that's my mother.
You get a lot of people. Now we all have to take Latin in freshman year. That's a requirement.
Thank goodness.
And I would.
My classrooms are always filled with freshmen.
They are, and it's a pretty wild class. Like, I don't know what it is about Latin that really brings out the silly in people, because there's a lot of silliness that goes on, and we respect you and we love you as a teacher, but you have a kind of loose hand on discipline.
Castigat ridendo mores.
What does that mean? Is this some Harry Potter
Like
shit?
Redondo Beach.
It does.
Laughing corrects morals. So laughter when things seem at their bleakest, that's when we find laughter.
Wow.
So that's why my mother and I laugh so much.
Because you guys witnessed what seems like a very tragic
Legally,
murder.
We did not witness it. Legally, we did not witness it. We were not there legally. Technically, legally, we were not there.
Wait, but who was driving the jalopy?
My father,
Oh, and he also died as well.
Heath Sr. Templeton.
He's senior
And
Templeton.
when you say technically legally, that makes me think that you have somehow established your alibi for not being
using
there
Latin. Alibi,
on
alibus.
purpose.
Alabus, Alabum.
Well, my mother took care of all of that, and so I didn't have to. I was
Right,
quite
because
young at the
you
time.
were-
I was 18 or 19 at the time.
When they passed.
When they-
Right before you began teaching here.
Right,
Okay.
right.
Were you always your mother's favorite?
She said she never liked to play favorites, but
Yeah.
between you and me, yes. And I would say now I definitely am.
You're the
Well,
only.
you're the only one left.
Well, then it worked out then.
See, that's what I mean. When you
Let's
say
talk
something
about-
like
yeah.
it working out.
Cui bono.
Okay.
Who benefits?
Marissa.
You benefited from all of your siblings and your father dying at once, but that's the first time I've ever heard that.
What's going on with you?
Woo! Well, we've got 3 more weeks of school.
Yeah.
So I got to tell you, I'm feeling a lot of kind of,
Yeah.
it's not spring fever. It's really summer
Snot
fever.
spring fever?
It's not spring fever, but I don't think there's a lot of learning going on right now in the
No,
STARS
this is
program.
senioritis.
Yeah.
Even though you will be succeeding into another senior year ad infinitum.
That's true.
Nailed it.
Nailed it. We should do a
Two
drinking game.
Forever.
Yes, two forever.
Literally meaning two forever.
You know, at this point, honestly, they may ask me to restart at freshman year because I feel like I've forgotten everything I've learned. I mean, what I've gained in life skills, like how to skin a squirrel and a chicken
Sure.
and use their feathers for warmth and that kind of thing.
Right, build a headdress.
Build a headdress, that could help you blend into an indigenous culture. What I've gained in that, I've lost in traditional learning, like how to read, how to recognize a number.
You don't need any of that.
It all starts with the proper learning method, which is back straight, feet on the floor.
There you go.
Arms at a 90-degree angle. Head tilted at a 45-degree angle.
Okay. Oh, I feel good.
Read, write in that position. That is the proper position. A slouching student learns nothing.
Right.
Pupil staturis non cognito. A slouching student learns.
And that is something that these are the kind of takeaways you get. Now, you may not learn, and again, you give us these. I remember you give us these Latin tests, and like none of it made sense.
Yeah.
But these little words you could pepper into conversation. I feel like is going to help you. People will think you went to private school, or that it kind of gives you a bump, right? A Latin bump.
Well, education of any type will give you a bump in life. All we have is our brain.
That's right. That's right.
Cognito ergo sum, I think. Therefore I
am. Interesting.
René Descartes.
So, if I think, so that's an interesting thing because I'd really like this summer to go different than my other summers.
In what way?
I'd really like to, get my body into shape. I'd like to kind of, really live for the moment and just not get, obviously, I feel like finally I'm free of gutter balls. He's got it. He's still in a relationship
with Raven.
With Raven. And I feel like it's time for me to really start, opening my eyes to what's next, and just get myself in some great shape, throw some parties, meet new people. I got to meet new people.
In your mind, does that mean your life will begin when those things happen? Because life is right now happening.
That's right. But I'm not saying that I need to change myself. But if I think of myself as a person who is not in love with gutters anymore, who is, somebody who gets up and doesn't eat 7 Digiorno sandwiches in the morning and then pass out for the next 6 hours because you had so many carbs and cheese.
Yeah.
Maybe that will help me to behave, to change my actions. I think, therefore, I am. I'm going to try it. I feel like you're saying that I can't.
You could do whatever you want. But what I'm saying is we don't move towards happiness and then get to a point where, okay, now I have these things and my happiness is here, right?
That's right. I know you think I'm taking on one of my projects and I'm going to be down on myself if it doesn't work out.
Sure.
But what I'm saying is that I just want to make some positive changes. So
let's just set reasonable goals.
All right. I'd like to lose.
You can't just go cold turkey on a life you've lived for a long time.
Okay. So I'd like to lose 1.5 pounds by the end of the summer.
I think that's doable.
Okay. And I'd like to cut.
That is a 1/8 stone.
Great.
That's the way they used to weigh themselves.
How many stones do you think I am at this point?
I would say you're maybe 672 stone.
That's a lot of stones.
Well,
I probably would have
1/8
broken
stone.
that Roman weight, scale,
No,
right?
Come on,
No,
those
they,
Romans.
They were made of brass and rock.
But I'm at 672 stones, so I'd like to get down to 600 and what's the math? 56 stones.
Well, it's 1/8 of a stone, so you would be 671
and 6/8.
7/8.
7/8.
Could we set up one of these stone weight scales? Get a bunch of stones and do that so we know where I'm at?
Yeah,
That your project?
Owen?
Yes.
Oh,
you
wonderful.
have one in your garden?
I have that and a sundial.
Okay.
A sundial is a ancient clock that would use the sun to tell the time. So I don't wear a watch or I haven't set the watches or clocks in my house. I go out to the sundial and see what time it is.
You know, that would be great for me because I sleep in a Harry Potter, what I call a Harry Potter bedroom. It's under the stairs and there's a door and they close me in there at night. So I don't see any natural light. I have no idea what time it is. And I emerge. And also I've lost the ability to read numbers. So that would help me is to be able to have a sundial. Can we make one of those?
Well, also,
Easy.
I know. Get an old Digiorno box.
Yeah.
Right? Draw a circle.
Uh-huh.
take a slice of pizza.
Take a slice of Digiorno pizza.
Put it on its side.
Put it on its side, and there's your sundial.
Great.
See, I'm learning more
Felix-
in 30 seconds
I don't
with
know
this
why
guy that
you're
I've
turning
been
this
with
on
years.
me, man.
Felix culpa.
Felix Unger.
Happy accident. You.
Odd couple.
We're going to break.
All right. When we come back, we're going to learn more life knowledge with Dominus Templeton, our Latin teacher. And hear some more about how I'm going to get my revenge body. Right?
Revengeanus. We all.
Audiobooks are a great sidekick for summer activities like hiking, running, road tripping, enjoying time outdoors. How about
B.A. Baracusing yourself, jet skiing.
garage can runs? I know you've put on a couple Audible books while we've been doing our trash can runs, which have been really helpful.
And with the largest selection of audiobooks on the planet, Audible lets you fill your summer with stories like Yes, Please by Amy Poehler.
Ooh, and you know, I'm on a steady diet of about 7 to 8 self-help books a week. And so Audible's coming in handy for me because, again, don't know how to read, but I do know how to use my ear holes. As an Audible member, you're going to get a credit every month good for any audiobook, regardless of the price.
Unused credits roll over to the next month.
Oh, I love that. And if you didn't like your audiobook, you can exchange it, no questions asked. Because sometimes you get through the first couple minutes, you're like, this isn't for me.
Plus, your books are yours to keep. Go back and re-listen anytime, even if you cancel your membership.
Better yet, you can switch seamlessly between devices, picking up exactly where you left off. So if it's on your phone, through your car, from a tablet, or at home on an Amazon Echo.
You can switch around easy peasy.
Why don't you guys do this today, okay? Trust me, you're going to start a 30-day trial, and your first audiobook is free. So what do you have to lose?
Just go to audible.com/WOMP, WOMP, or text WOMP to 500-500.
That's Audible, AUDIBLE.com/WOMP, WOMP.
Or text WOMP to 500-500.
You can do it with audiobooks. I'm really trying to wrap my head around these music selections you're doing today, but they're bringing me a lot of life.
Saxa Yachtus.
What does that mean?
Yacht rock in Latin.
Yacht rock. Is that real? Is that a real word? What does that refer
It
to?
refers to music you would listen to on a yacht.
On a yacht. Oh, I love it.
From
you know
the
what?
Latin yacht.
I would love to. Ooh, you know what I should have at the pool? I have a community pool at my condo, like a toga party. Would you want to come to something like that, Dominus? Don't
would
bring
love-
your mom, though.
Oh, then no, thank you. My mother would love. My mother, she would love.
She loves a pool party.
She loves a pool party.
Does she have a bathing suit?
She does not. She doesn't.
She just wears a big T-shirt.
If she
Bathing
wears
costume?
anything-
If she what?
If she wears, in the ancient Rome, the bathers, as they were called, would go into the river outside of Rome, the Brundisium River,
And bathe?
they'd bathe.
Nude.
Bathe nude. Yes, they weren't swim trunks or
Well, people
bikinis.
were always doing it to each other back in Roman times, right?
That's full circle question.
Doing.
Meaning there was a lot of...
Like you were asking before about the
Yes.
oral sex
Yes.
scrolls and.
Because
and
wouldn't
such.
they have like older men would take a younger soldier?
Yes, there was a fluid sort of acceptance, especially with Caligula's era and Nero's era. And,
Right.
What
What about the island of Lesbos?
Island of Lesbos? That Yes, there was a lot of...
Because you had us read some pretty dirty stuff just to get our kind of appetite peaked.
Well, it was a...
If I remember, it's all I remember from that year.
Well, it was yes, we have to keep the students interested. We'd tell some of the more
Ribbled
colorful
stories.
stories like Island of Lesbos and the scissoring wars of Lesbos and
The Scissoring Wars. Yes, I remember those.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a Wonder Woman scenario.
Yeah.
Where like I imagine them all looking like Robin Wright, you know? But then instead of fighting,
your
they're
fantasy.
scissoring each other.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So and then there was the island, the Dildo Island, which was
Dildo Island. Now, are these stone dildos?
These are stone dildos.
Is that where dildo comes from? The word dildo?
Dildo means
Dildarius,
stone phallus.
dildum.
It's like a stone phallus.
Dildunum.
Like the Easter Island faces, but
Yeah.
You don't want to put those
phallus.
up a cooch, though. Those will wreck you.
if you're a god.
Well, yeah, I mean, those were, they have come in different sizes and curves and shapes and
Sure.
girth. And
So
to
people
each its
were
own.
using stone dildos back in that time.
It wasn't like a rough, coarse stone. It was smooth over They would smooth it in the lapping oceans of the island. You
I
know,
see.
Which like a stone you'd find on the beach.
Yeah,
that's
like a
smoothed
piece of
over.
sea glass.
Yeah, smooth
Like
over.
a sea cucumber.
So
No, that's an animal.
well, sure it is, but I'm the same shape as a
it's
sea
the same,
cucumber.
yes.
Sure.
But over time, so one would make a stone phallus maybe in 27 BC, but not be used until maybe 13 BC. It was kept
Wow,
in what was called a phallus
Chamber.
crotus.
Wow, this
which
is
like a
blowing
crate,
my mind.
like a sort of a wooden crate, like a lobster
Like a
crate.
lobster crate,
And so
as
they would
the-
keep them in there so that they wouldn't roll away into the
God,
Aegean.
that is a lot of
Or the
effort
Adriatic,
to
yeah.
put in to getting a stone dildo. And you can still see these sometimes in a museum.
Yeah, yes.
They're labeled as boomerangs, but
That's what
not
they
it.
are.
Yeah.
God, I never knew why there were so many
certain
boomerangs.
ones are the boomerangs. Certain.
That's for two people could use it, right?
Oh, okay.
Isn't that right?
Well,
I'm asking a serious
The
question.
double-sided.
well, when in
Yes.
Gaul, do as the Gauls do.
And that means double penetration.
All right, we're going to do what's cheesing you, okay?
Okay.
Explain what this is.
I have some more questions though later for him about
You have a
certain
whole
incidents that
podcast.
go, okay. All right. So Dominus Templeton, this is a segment. I don't know how you'd say what's cheesing you in Latin. Do you know?
It would be K fromagus.
Okay. So this is just where we talk about what's
K
bothering
fromages! K fromages! K fromages! K fromages! K fromages! K fromages!
Oh,
K fromages.
wow.
Whoa, that's
Did that scare you? You're 88. Sometimes that when she starts screaming like that, it can scare our guests. But you don't, nothing really
Nothing
scares
phases you. You've been through one of the greatest tragedies known to mankind.
The David Blair fart incident.
Multiple wars. Excuse me?
I'm talking about the David Blair fart
Yes,
incident,
that was,
which I wanted to get to
it
it.
was
And
a
that is
finally-
considered one of the greatest tragedies of all time in Marina Del Rey.
1989. 1989. It was final exam of the Latin AP Latin class. We were translating the Aeneid, Arma wumque cano, a sing of the arms and of the man.
And this is when
David Blair.
we had separate men and women Latin classes.
Right. Men and women should,
Never learn Latin together.
or any subject
any
really.
subject.
The
Right.
engorging of the glands at that age prevents
Learning.
proper blood flow to the brain.
Maybe that's what's happening to me.
Sure.
And so I do believe in a splitting of the sexes, and in the learning process, it worked for me. Even though I went to Marina Del Rey, no girls would ever talk to me, or I never spoke to them.
I find that surprising, considering your mom carried you to school every day. But tell me, so you
I
guys were
speak to
in
my
the
mother
you
quite
had-
a bit.
I believe
Spent
me.
a vast amount of
I
time
bet the
together.
conversation you have when you're riding on her is pretty intimate. You know, a close talk. Is there
It's a lot of me talking because she's so winded when she's carrying
Right.
me. But she'll answer in an affirmative or
But
a
I'm just
negative.
picturing in my mind that you wouldn't have to speak very loudly.
Well, I do because her hearing is less. So at first I would whisper and I would say, "Faster, mother," or watch out for the motorcycle or something like that. But now I do have to scream like, "Mother, faster, make the light. You can make the light."
Do people give you to look askance at you that you are riding a 114-year-old woman to school? I mean, how do you justify that to yourself? Because she's obviously infirm at that age.
Well, que fromages, that is what I would like to mention.
Please, let's go roll right into it.
Is that, people judge our relationship, my mother and I. Because,
I've been judging it. I get to be honest with you.
I feel it. I feel it, and it is something where it's hard to explain to someone how close one can be to another human being until you've really experienced it. And my mother and I have been through a terrible tragedy, but many wonderful times together, many spirited times, many spirited discussions in front of the fire and in front of as we dig into the garden and
dig holes for
humans.
We dig holes.
Human-sized holes? How big are those holes?
Sometimes, I'll come home from school and mother has handled an intruder. And
No.
so we have to.
What do you mean handled an intruder?
Well, if a
mailman
postman comes through the gate and doesn't
properly
put a ring or
properly introduce himself.
Yeah, just for her safety, and I think she's an older woman now, and I think she has to protect herself and has the right to protect herself.
Sure.
And so a postman, or if there's a child selling cookies or something and doesn't properly. So these types of intruders, mother will handle them, and then I come home and I put down my satchel and we will then
get to work.
It's also good for the garden. It's nature's mulch. In the Roman times, the slaves, the Christian slaves, would be buried in the emperor's garden, and especially before the rose plumage, the rose season, and the most glorious roses. Nero was famous for his roses. Yeah.
And now, when you say handled, which
Any movie I've ever seen.
handled, what is your understanding of what exactly has transpired?
Well, mother.
Asking these questions.
We need to have it on tape.
Mother she carries with her an old bicycle chain, and so she will. If someone knocks on the door, what she does is leaves the door slightly ajar.
Yes.
So that the person will
They'll come in.
They'll come in. Is everything okay? Is everything something like that? They'll say.
Yeah.
And then she will whip the bicycle chain down on that person, stunning them.
Yes.
Most likely breaking skin.
Yes.
Stunning them.
Is this the plot of that movie with Jennifer Lawrence's mother?
I don't think so. I've not yet seen it.
I have not seen that movie.
Okay.
But I will rent it. Is it mater? Is the Latin for mother?
Yes, yes.
And so she will knock
Break skin.
Okay.
And then she will knock that person out.
Thank you.
Lucius quam asparagi quacontur.
Asparagus? What does asparagus have to
Faster
do with
than you
it?
could cook asparagus.
Okay.
She will have knocked out the assailant.
Okay.
And
So
the wonderful, my mother is so efficient
Yes.
with tools that she actually finishes the
So
person
she'll-
off with the shovel that we use
I see.
to dig the earth.
And then
the soil.
does she break the body down?
what the fuck is happening right now? This isn't funny. This is seriously scary. Why are you doing this to me?
Here.
I'm so scared right now. You know I don't like scary things.
Would you like to talk about what's cheesing you?
Yes, what's cheesing me is you know that I can't handle dark stuff, and yet you continue to ask questions of this person, and this is the scariest tale that has ever been told.
You act like I'm coming up with this.
This is scarier
This
than
is
Silence of the
happening
Lambs.
in our
this
community.
is scarier than the Poltergeist
Obviously.
and Psycho all together.
Okay, there are multiple mail carriers have disappeared.
Keep it light. Keep it light.
I don't know why you're telling me that, okay?
Manus postus, mail carrier.
No,
All right.
this makes sense why every single week there's a new post office person, and I thought it was budget cuts. I didn't know what
It's
was
a tough
going on.
job. Not a lot of people want to do it.
Well, it's a
especially-
tough job if you're going to disappear.
Well, they're not disappeared. They're buried in a backyard, broken up.
The fuck are we going to do with this information?
Well,
I
if
don't
you're-
want this kind of social and moral burden on me.
What are you talking about?
We're going to have to turn this man in. He's 88.
He can hear us.
I'm right here.
You understand that this is illegal, what you're doing. What your mother is doing.
Well, there is a legal right to protect oneself that goes
Sure.
back to the Roman days when if a Gaul or a barbarian or God forbid
A Visigoth?
a Visigoth or an Ithacan would approach your doorstep, you were allowed to strike them.
Yeah, but
Right.
this
Strike
isn't
them
Roman
down.
times.
Brutum fullum.
No, don't.
Senseless thunderbolt.
Hey,
is
hey,
what-
old man, don't hide behind this. This is modern day. These are people who are trying to just deliver your mail. Okay?
Seems like-
it's a civil servant.
And hey, technically, legally, you're not there for these murders.
But you're burying them.
Technically, legally, I've not witnessed any of these.
So I want to know technically, legally, what happened in 1951, okay? And we're going to get into that just after
I
I
don't
share
want to. I'm too
what's cheesing me,
scared.
okay? Here's what's cheesing me, okay?
This better not be like something really lame, like somebody was taking too long to order at Starbucks.
Wow. Do you see what I'm dealing with?
Your cheeses have been so
Here's some mail.
low
Take it
stakes.
over.
Ex nihilo nihil fit.
What does that mean?
Out of nothing comes nothing. And if you judge before she speaks, then no one learns.
Oh, really? Because I was judging you as somebody who was doing some weird shit with your mom, and it turns out I was absolutely right.
Weird shit.
Illegal, dark shit. All right, go ahead, Lissler. What's your cheese? I'm gonna
I
try
don't
to.
want to share it now.
Please, I'm sorry.
Why? You're not sorry.
I am sorry. How
I'm
do I?
sorry. That's not good enough.
Come on, please.
No, it's fine.
No. What's your cheese?
Never mind.
Come on, Liz. Give me your cheese, please. Make it funny,
fromages.
please.
Que
K fromages.
Que fromagia.
For a woman, you'd say K fromagia.
Yeah.
Come on, I'm
What
gonna.
is that?
What is your cheese?
What is your cheese?
Female.
Oh, great.
Female.
Fromaggio, fromagia,
Got it, got it.
fromaggiat, fromagimus, fromagiunt.
That's the conjugation.
K fromagia. Come on.
All right. Well, Leonard was supposed to meet me for a rousing game of rat shuffleboard.
He was going to arouse you with a game of rat shuffleboard?
No, rousing.
Rousing. Okay.
Game of rat shuffleboard.
For those of our listeners who don't know who Leonard is, can you catch
He's
them
my
up?
friend from the wharf. There's not a whole lot there. Okay.
Right. He has a speedboat for a while.
He doesn't
you
anymore.
Crashed it.
So
you guys are still
we're
close.
down by I'm waiting by the wharf. I'm waiting by the wharf.
What is rat shuffleboard? I'm sorry to have so many questions, but
It's pretty self-explanatory.
you take a rat and
Yeah.
you use it as a puck.
sleeping rat.
Oh,
just
it's got to
shuffle
be
it.
sleeping.
Yeah,
Okay.
it usually wakes up on the
travel.
And then wherever it lands, that's your points.
Okay.
So what you want to try to do is do it gently enough to not wake the rat.
Sure, that
Anyway.
makes sense.
So I had gathered
That is an actual Latin phrase. Do not wake the rat.
Do not wake the sleeping rat.
Yeah, verminus non resoundiant. Do not
Wake
arouse
The rat.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I'm waiting
Let
there.
sleeping rats lie. Is that where that came from?
Had gathered a bunch of sleeping rats for us to use because once a rat wakes, you can't use it anymore. So I'm waiting and I'm waiting and I'm waiting, and no Leonard. Finally, he shows up, and I'm waiting for my apology. Like,
Well,
I've been waiting here.
to be fair, he has one leg. He has a peg leg like an old
Yeah,
pirate.
but if you say you're going to meet me at 4 p.m. or 4
start
a.m. or
walking
whatever,
at 2
walk
a.m.
earlier.
Yeah, 2 p.m. Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
If it's going to take you longer to be there, don't agree to meet me at a certain time. Anyway, he gets there and starts giving me excuses about why it's taken him so long to get there, or somebody else's problem was causing him to be late. And I said, well, you know what?
Your problem is not my emergency.
I said, I've been waiting here for 2 hours, Leonard. And these rats have woken up and left because a rat only sleeps for 45 minutes at a time.
Right.
And only after they eat.
Exactly. So I have to feed them little niblets that I've collected from the back of Jersey Mike's. Anyway,
Those are some lucky rats.
Not one
I'll tell you that much.
apology.
Wow.
Not one. I'm so sorry. That must have been hard for you. I know your day is fucked now.
He wasn't thinking about you. He was just.
No, you've given me other reasons to not be mad at him. Don't be mad at me because of this other thing. Well, too bad.
Well, he has saved you and gotten you out of some really tough spots. So I don't want, you have a long history with Leonard. You know,
But just because you've been with someone for a long time doesn't mean you can let them treat you like shit.
That's interesting. That's a good point. What are you going to do about it?
Like if he called me and said, I need a kidney, go get one. I'd be like, definitely. You know, I'll be there, kidney in hand.
Right.
From wherever I need to get
you
it.
could go and dig it up out of
No, those aren't
Dominus,
fresh.
Templeton's,
You need a-
Templeton's,
You need
a fresh
kidney
organ
for it to work.
Well, wait until tomorrow. I'm sure there'll be one.
Corvus oculum corvi non eruit.
What does that mean?
A crow will not pull the eye out of another crow. And that is what
That's
sounds like
fucking
your relationship
Scary
is.
as shit.
That your relationship, an eye is being pulled from your crow eye is being pulled from his crow beak.
Yeah.
Well, what are you going to do about it?
What do you mean?
How are you going to repair this with Leonard? Write him off?
I told him I didn't like it. He won't do it again.
Oh, all right. Well, that's a pretty easy cheese to
We're
fix.
going to take a break now.
All right. We'll be back soon with more from Dominus Templeton, our Latin teacher who seems to have confessed to multiple murders. We'll get into that. This is like that, this will be good for us, actually. What was that, How to Make a Murderer, or that podcast about murdering people? What was that
It's not
one?
how to murder people.
How to
The
murder.
Daily?
No, the one.
My favorite murder.
My favorite murder?
Yeah.
What was that? Like a Nancy Drew type of situation?
What are you talking about?
There was a really famous, podcast where they're like, and now we'll figure out who's the murderer.
You don't know what you're talking about.
There was
There
one
is
like
an
that.
incredibly popular podcast called My Favorite Murder right now.
Okay. Well, anyway, murder and sex sells, and we got both of them coming back up after the break. Yeah, stone dildos and shit.
All right.
You know what? It's been a long while, but thank goodness comedian Michael Ian Black, one of the funniest dudes ever, is finally back here on Earwolf, this time with a new podcast called Obscure.
In Obscure, Michael tackles a great work of literature he's never read, and you probably haven't either.
He's reading one of the most well-respected books ever written, Jude the Obscure. That's a real laugh riot.
Out loud, he's reading it and commenting as he goes, even though he didn't really want to.
The book has been on his bookshelf for years, mocking him.
That's tough stuff. But he's reading it for you, and he has lots of thoughts to share along the way.
Join Michael Ian Black for some of his famous and non-famous friends and experts as he discovers Jude's world and a few things about his own.
Is this a terrible idea? Probably. But it's a terrible idea he wants to do with you.
Subscribe to Obscure now in Stitcher, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you listen.
Welcome back to Womp It Up. This is Listener's Love Lockdown.
Salvete discipli.
That sounds like some bed knobs and broomsticks shit you just
A lot
did
of
there.
what you're saying does sound like you're casting spells.
It does. It sounds like what are the special spells in Harry Potter? The sorcerer's spell, or they have like the
Abracadabra.
yeah.
My
Okay.
mother won't let me read those books.
Okay.
Really good. I think
You're
you'd
88.
I think
you
you'd love
can
them.
do what you want to do
I
at this
do what I
point.
want to do. I do listen to my mother, and I enjoy listening to her.
Okay.
All right, I got a question here. Dear Womp and Liz, I wanted to start off by saying how much you ladies mean to me. You exhibit true, fierce female friendship, and I look forward to listening to you each week. I'm a 30-year-old woman who has never been in a relationship. I'm finishing up my PhD and on my way to becoming a professor, but I feel feel like I am
Good for
still
you.
uneducated in the ways of love.
Okay.
For a long time, I've been solely focused on my career, and I feel like I'm finally ready to search for a partner. The issue is online dating is difficult for me.
Well, for everybody, it looks like.
Even though my amazing group of lady friends tell me I am beautiful and a catch, I feel self-conscious about my weight and relative lack of experience for someone my age. I also feel like I'm caught on the idea of meeting someone in, quote, real life rather than online, as my attraction to people, men and women, tends to happen more when I see someone in person rather than looking at a photograph.
Makes sense.
Do you ladies have any advice for an inexperienced 30-year-old woman who has her shit together but seems to be a bit unlucky in love? Much love to you both. Jen in Minneapolis.
Well, Jen, we hear this all the time, that people want to meet the way they did in the olden days, like in You've Got Mail. Although that was online, wasn't it?
Yep.
Wasn't it? But that meet cute thing we've been sold, that you're going to be walking
Serendipity.
down with a
Pick up the
bag of
same
bread
book.
and then you're going to bump into somebody like that. That
Yeah.
doesn't happen anymore.
It does happen.
It does, but we are living more of our lives online. And actually, I feel like instead of looking at this as a negative, let's look at the fact that actually you're exposed to so many more people online that you actually don't have to wait. Now, in the olden days, you'd have to say, well, listen, I live in a town with 20 people.
Right.
Half of them are my siblings. Right? And so you had maybe 5 other people that you could possibly date, right? Remember in Little House on the Prairie, her only choice was that Armando guy who I always felt was like really annoying. Was that his name? Manny?
I don't know.
Anyway, so instead of looking at it as a negative, I think you say, look at all the options I've got out there. And honestly, if you're somebody who's 30 and haven't had a lot of experience, I bet you there are just as many people out there, men or women, who have had the same amount of little experience.
You're getting your PhD, so clearly you're good at projects. You're good at working, business focused, etc. A fierce, bucking female doing it for herself. Treat this next dating thing as a project. I want you to set up a couple profiles on various things. I want you to go on like 1 date a week.
Like a spreadsheet.
Like practice, because you are out of practice and it may be a while before you find somebody. And I bet once you're back on the horse, you're going out, you're seeing that there are people in the world that you are either attracted to or not attracted to, that you're going to start carrying yourself in a different way in the world. And then if that meet cute is going to happen, you'll be in the right space to see it.
You'll be ready for it.
And be ready for it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Because clearly you got a lot going for you, but you don't believe that yet.
Right. And you're going to take that kind of, let's also do some journaling, and turn those things you're telling yourself, like I'm unlucky in love.
Yeah.
Let's write a different story.
I've been fucking tearing it up in the PhD
That's correct.
world.
And I will do the
And now
same
I'm
in
ready
the
for
romantic
this
world.
thing.
Also, what's so good about experience? If you're going to say carpe diem again, I swear to God.
Carpe noctem, seize the night.
Oh, okay.
So, how my mother met my father during the turn
gold
of the
rush?
century. It was the Depression.
Okay.
And, so what my mother would do is she would wait until her cycle had hit a certain point. Then she would go to a public house, find a man who was drinking alone, and then how she met my father was then
Drag him home?
he would lay with her, and then she would be with child. And so then it was
Again,
infantus anchorus.
oh my God. Oh my God. This is so dark.
So that is my oldest brother, Cato.
And then he was just kept, then he couldn't go anywhere because back then you got somebody pregnant and you had to stay.
Yeah, to get away, he loved the jalopy. He would drive around by the
Did she cut the brakes on that?
Apparently the brake line was very frayed because the salt in Marina Del Rey. There's a lot of salt air because of the ocean.
Sure.
So there's always rust underneath a car. You always have to maintain your vehicle,
Especially if it's missing its bike chain.
Yeah, and there's a bike. Yeah, so
interesting.
My father, he loved that jalopy, and he would drive around with Cato and my other brother Owen.
And he loved to go up on there's one really big hill in Marina
Yes.
Del Rey.
All
He
the
would
kids
love to go
skateboard
up,
down it,
And if it
and
were to ever snow, they
it would be a
use that.
sledding hill. And he would
Mount
love
Guadalupe, yes.
and he would go up on the top of Mount Guadalupe Street and go down, coast down.
Coast down. What he would do is put the vehicle in neutral. It was a stick shift, and put it in neutral. Everyone laugh and
Like it was a
chuckle at
sleigh
it.
ride.
It was a sleigh ride and such happy times. And they just couldn't get it. He put it back in the
get it
drive,
back.
and he couldn't get it back, and the clutch gave out, and they went right into the ocean. And
So
perished.
Jen,
Leo,
I don't know how-
Laocoon perished for speaking the truth about the Trojan horse. So did my father and brothers and sisters.
So Jen, nothing that you will go through in the online dating world will be any near as fucked up as that story. So you know that you only have up to go. I guess that's where we ended.
Yeah, you got this, girl.
Jen, I'm not worried.
Let us know.
Please let us know.
All right, here's this question.
Jesus.
All right. Not a love question. Just want Marissa and Listener to know that Life in Pieces is actually really funny. Apparently, we talked
Some shit about it for
Well,
no
I don't
reason.
think, did we talk shit about it?
I don't know, but we've never seen it. And you know what? I
have seen
actually
some of
saw
it.
I saw a promo for it, and I did think the same thing. I thought Diane Weiss. I said looks like
Yeah.
a good cast.
Zoe Lister Jones.
Zoe Lister-Jones is
Actually,
in it.
the funniest on the show.
Well, she's hilarious.
Yeah.
So
She said the fact that I felt compelled to email about a CBS sitcom should convince you of how funny the
wait,
show is.
it's a sitcom? I thought it was an hour-long drama. Life
no.
in Pieces to me means everybody's
it's a
dealing
half-hour
with different
comedy.
various illnesses.
Colin Hanks.
Okay, C. Hanks is in it. Got
So
it.
anyway, everybody check out Life. Everybody check out Life in Pieces.
And while you're at it, check out Playing House. Because if you're talking about good comedies, that's a great one. Also, Review with Forrest McNeil, Andy Daly, longtime favorite of Earwolf. His show is on Hulu now. I wanted to let everyone know. It's just named top 75 shows on Hulu. So check out Review as well.
All right, here's one
All
more
right,
question.
all right.
And then we'll get into Spotlight on. Hey, Shardog and Marissa, let me begin this by saying how much I love your show. And on an unrelated note, the comedians Lennon Parham and Jessica
Oh,
St.
very
Clair.
sweet.
In the past, I think I've preemptively stopped relationships by being too eager, taking things too fast, or falling in love too easily. I've been seeing a girl for 2 weeks that I'm crazy for. And I'd like to think I'd be crazy for her even if I didn't fall for girls so easily. She makes me want to be a better person, and she's beautiful, smart, and kind. She said she's worried I'm too good for her, which is crazy because that's how I feel.
Oh.
I can be a bit insecure at times, which may be why I rush. She's also a big fan of the dressing room diarrhea scene in Bridesmaids, but that's unrelated to you. What are
Great
some
taste.
tips for cooling down and making sure I don't push things? I understand playing hard to get can work, but that seems disingenuous. Sincerely, an American abroad.
Well, I totally relate because I fall and I fall hard. And sometimes I have bad judgment. Brony Jabroni ran away with $343 in my bank account. Gutters obviously just keeps batting me back and forth like a cat would a dead mouse.
Yeah.
And so I get it. But it really does sound like this woman is a great catch and likes you as much as you like them. And I think the most important thing is that you feel an equal level of excitement, right? The problem becomes when one person is not really into it, i.e. gutter balls, and you're ready to get married. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to tell her to dampen her spirit.
I think it's a him.
It's a him?
I think so.
Okay. I'm not going to tell him to dampen his spirit because it sounds like this might be true love. And isn't that the great thing, that first 6 months where you can't get enough of each other? Why are we going to want to slow that down?
Yeah.
Tempus bonoris.
Uh-oh, temper your boner.
That's boner time. The first 6 months. It's a old Latin phrase. It's
Pretty good.
It's a romantic
Time for
spirit.
coupling.
Yes.
Like a honeymoon period.
Yes,
Yes.
a honeymoon period. Exactly. You know, again, not to bring up Meghan Markle again because I know it angers you so greatly, but I think one of the things that captivates people about the two of them is they are in their temperis boners. What is it?
It's Tempus bonoris.
Tempus bonoris. They're in their tempus bonoris time, which is, you know, they can't keep their hands off each other. They're staring at each other like, you know, they're Greek gods to each other.
Groping, sweaty, grappling.
Right, they're grappling with each other. And it's like, so that's what, because we all want that in our lives. So why throw it away? It's only going to last for 6 months,
Yeah.
right?
I think you're worried it's going to go away, this whole thing.
We don't
that
know if
you're feeling.
Well, guess what? We don't know if life is going to go away. We don't know. All we have is now.
I think if you know that you're like this, if you feel like you come off as needy or aggressive in a relationship, you could just be aware of that. You could say that, hey, in the past, I've gotten the feedback that I'm too needy.
Can you let me know if that becomes a
happens?
problem? Yeah.
Because I really am enjoying my time with you, and I want us to be on the same page at all times.
You know what I think they should do is play this to them, because I think what he wrote about her is so beautiful and would really touch somebody. And I think it might be an easy way for him to get out his fears to her.
Yeah.
In a way that's actually quite complimentary because he cared enough to write in.
I do want to point out they've been seeing each other for 2 weeks at this point.
I got no problem with that.
But now it would be like 6 weeks upon this airing. So, it is early in the relationship, right?
I
mean, we're
guess,
still-
although Harry and Meghan, they knew the moment, she said, I knew the moment I met you that you were my prince. And they got out their date books and they started making a plan. And in 3 weeks, they were in Botswana sleeping under the stars.
Okay.
I know. Please don't do another monologue about this. I'm just saying this is a romance that's captivating the world for a reason. And why are we?
Because
maybe
he's
this
a
is true
fucking
love.
prince.
Oh, there
Because
we go.
he's a fucking prince.
There we go.
Is that true?
Yes.
Because we wouldn't care about this if this happened to anybody else. The only people that care about the people who are in love are the people who are in love, unless you're a fucking prince.
All right.
And we should value the love.
Mark Antony and Queen Cleopatra
Yes.
found true love in the most rough of terrains.
Yeah, but didn't somebody eat an asp or something?
He
They ate a bug, right? And it killed them?
a snake,
A scorpion?
They were bitten by an asp, a poisonous asp, a snake, and while they were making love, and
Where did it bite them? The butt?
it bit their taints simultaneously.
I don't
the
believe
top,
that.
The top
Now
fang,
you're
the top fang
joking.
went into his
Now
taint,
you're joking.
And, well, actually, she was on top, so the top
That's
fang
not
was in her
okay.
taint,
All right.
and the bottom fang went into
Okay.
his taint. And they,
Dominus Templeton.
as they came
Okay.
simultaneously,
Okay.
they died.
All
All
right.
right.
Petite mort, the tiny death, which
That's
is
fucking crazy.
every orgasm.
All right.
There's
Ready?
a tiny death. Mortis petunia.
That's not real. This guy's fucking full of it. All right.
This is Spotlight on.
I really don't. Can I
You
just
gotta
ask you
ask
a
the
question?
question.
I don't want to. Is this Pete's dragon?
Yeah. It's about a fucked up relationship between
Is it?
a boy and
And a
his mother,
dragon.
and also a dragon. The mother is always at the center of these stories for me. Okay?
That's because of your relationship with your mother.
That's because I'm a mother. I challenge anyone to watch this movie who is a mother and not be connected deeply only to the mother. Fuck Pete. Fuck that dragon.
All you care about, you know what, you should do your own podcast about all the movies and the mom that nobody gives a shit about, and that's the only thing you care about. Karate Kid, all you care about is
Maybe
the mom's
the world
backstory.
should give a shit a little bit more about the moms, and then we
E.T.?
wouldn't be getting up at 1 a.m. to watch a goddamn wedding.
Oh, I knew it would come back to this.
Fidelis mater. Be loyal to mother.
Hey, actually,
I'm loyal to my mother.
I
That's
know,
right.
and I think too loyal.
We got to get you
some
coming
help.
down to the precinct.
We got to get some help.
Your mother straight up killed your family. Okay? She killed your family so that she could carry you around like a baby for the rest of your life. Well, friend, you are 88 years old and you have been burying people in your backyard.
I suckle at her teat like Romulus and Remus.
Oh my God!
As Romulus and Remus were found in the woods by the mighty Lupa.
No!
So they sucked on the wolf teat for the wolf milk to build the strength to build Rome.
This is so
I will
terrifying.
build a new empire with my mother.
You won't. Oh my God. I can't. Please. This is so scary for me. Is this the lesson? Is that I need to face the darkness? Is that what I'm trying? Is this like Harry Potter?
I don't know why has this got to be about you? I think we just have discovered a series of murders.
God.
Maybe this will be on my favorite murder, you know?
Okay. I don't know if it's even worth it to peel back the layers of an 88-year-old man. I mean, he's not got much time left.
He may have another 50 years.
Oh my God.
How many mailmen can we lose?
Well, the wonderful thing, we have blood transfusions. We use the
my God.
aggressor's blood. So we have a system where so we always have new blood.
No, God.
That is how my mother has survived.
Wow.
Is there a chance that this is in your imagination, that you've gone senile, that we've missed the boat, Marina Del Rey has missed the boat, public high school, on letting you retire, encouraging you to retire? Is this like when a Supreme Court justice stays on the court for too long? Is this one of those situations? And maybe this isn't true. Right?
Yeah, it is.
Are you your mom is...
Veritas in vita, truth in life, and in wine.
Are you drunk right now?
I am drunk with the love of learning.
All right.
I'm coming by. This is what I'm going to say to you. Whistler and I are, even though this scares the shit out of me, we are, after this podcast, going to go to your house and you're going to introduce me to your mother.
I'll carry you.
I don't know if that would be...
Oh, I'm not worried about her killing us. Are you kidding me? I got a natural killing machine right here in my teacher. I need to see if this is true. And if she is alive, then we are going to face what you have confessed on this podcast, and we're going to go down to the precinct and we're going to get you some help.
I would go with you, but it's chicken patty day at the cafeteria, and I hate to miss chicken patty day.
Got it. You can't technically or legally be there.
I would not want to technically or legally be there.
Well, e pluribus unum, right?
Out of many, one.
I want to thank Dominus Templeton for joining us and filling my head with nightmares that literally, and I am not joking you, will haunt me for the rest of the day. Whistler thinks it's so fucking hilarious that I'm scared. Well, guess what? This is real life.
Homo sum humani a me nihil alienum puto. I am human being, so nothing human is strange to me.
No, this is fucking strange. You shouldn't be living with the corpse of your dead mom and burying people in the backyard. Okay? All right. We'll be back next week with an all-new Womp It Up. Trigger warning. Trigger warning is real. Okay? Trigger warning for anybody who's got a too close relationship with their mom, or any mailmen listening, or mail carriers listening, excuse me.
What's your address?
My address is 666 Eden Lane.
666 Eden Lane. So any
Avoid
mail
it at all
carriers,
costs.
avoid it at all costs.
And we'll just be sending...
I'm expecting an abacus from Amazon. So
Amazon, if you're listening, Jeff Bezos,
I'm awaiting an abacus. So
please
I
halt
do need
that order.
delivered. I need it
Please
delivered. It is
halt the order. Hey, Guillermo del Toro, if you're listening, this sounds like a great new
Right
film
up your
for
alley,
you. Right up your
absolutely.
alley. Or M. Night Shyamalan. I could
Shyamalan.
really see this one. Shamalama ding dong. All right. Womp it up, everybody.
Well, away to skipperly, away.
Nope.
Hey, this is Arnie from the comedy podcast Hello from the Magic Tavern, a chat show I host from the magical land of Foon with my co-hosts
Usador, the Blue Wizard.
And Chunt, the shapeshifter.
Most weeks we interview adventurers,
Wedding planners.
Ambulatory trees.
but this week we have a special episode.
I am so excited to learn about the Earth lore contained in Pride and Prejudice.
We're going to do a book club of Pride and Prejudice.
And you said this is a well-loved book on Earth, right?
Yeah, it's one of those books that people love or were forced to read, or more likely it's one of those I'm gonna get to it's.
And some of our most beloved guests are returning to read the book with us and enjoy some drinks and food over book club.
We have Flower, we have Crom the Barbarian.
And Germ.
You know who they are.
Maybe you don't give a crap about what an academic thinks about Jane Austen, but don't you want to know what a wizard and a badger think about it?
Not enough spells.
Not enough grubs.
Not enough sword fights.
Whether you love Pride and Prejudice or have no interest in reading it and just want to listen to a book club go really off the rails, you'll enjoy this week's Hello from the Magic Tavern.
We shall defeat this book.